In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Hello, viewers around the world. It's good to be here again. New week, new month, and beautiful month of June. My name is Mark Godwin Iweajua. We're here on the new week news starter, Between the Lines. Between the Lines, SSM, this beautiful second day of June 2025. I'm here with my coordinators from Lagos, Nigeria, is Ogbeni Olayinka Raji. Raji, you are welcome. Happy new month, Raji.
Same to you, man. Good evening, Mark. Good evening, viewers around the world. Welcome to our first program this Monday, second day of June.
Yes, the first week of June. Beautiful month. You know, June is like that month when everything starts afresh. Good things comes fresh, blessings, good health, good news. You know, the earth rotates to a freshness that ushers in, beautiful things. So that's how it's going to be for you, our viewers, and this great man here with me, Olayinka Raji, also joining to take in the fresh breeze and blessing of June is George Chuku from Toronto, Canada. Big George.
Yes. Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good afternoon, my Godwin and Olayinka Raji, and viewers from around the world. We want to welcome you to our Monday Between the Lines. It's going to be an awesome show today.
Yes, George, indeed, it's an awesome one, gentlemen. Let's kick off with sometimes you hear some news and you wonder if humanity is still very much together. Well, it's what we're hearing from. In fact, the meeting is going on now. I don't know if you guys have it. The Russian and the Ukrainian delegates are presently in Istanbul for a second round talk of peace. We know what happened last time they met together, but this time it looks like it's going to yield some things. Let me start with Yinka. How do you see this? Are you following that? Take note, as at last night, there was heavy launch of about 117 drones.
As long as the usual meddlesomeness and interlopers are kept out of this meeting, I'm sure everything will come out right. Both parties want peace, despite what happened the day before. Both parties want peace, yes.
Despite what happened the day before. George, we know the day before, sorry for that, the day before, like I was saying earlier, Kiev launched 117 drones on the military base inside Russia. And that's a big one to come on Russia this time. So they are hitting themselves, but they are coming on the peace table. How does that look to you, George?
Well, whatever have a beginning must also have an end, some kind of way. So we see what has been going on, and we saw that Russia thought it was going to be a few days war, that Ukraine would succumb and be defeated, but it's more than how many years now? The war has been going on, trillions upon trillions of dollars wasted around the world over this, and thousands upon thousands of lives lost. They're trying what the best they could, but there has been a 2-3 days localized ceasefire that they had. Yes,
Mhm,
that's what it is. Localized ceasefire, but
mhm,
the today's event that
mhm.
took place in Istanbul
Yes.
resulted there was no agreement whatsoever.
Okay. So George, you're giving us real time now. Good
Real
one.
time, yes,
Real
there is
time.
no. That's
No
right.
agreement so far.
So
Okay.
Russia rejected the unconditional ceasefire that
Mhm.
Ukraine was actually presenting. So as a result of that, they ended up not agreeing, but decided finally that they will continue the peace talk between the 20th of June to the 30th of June. So whenever they decide to come back again. So, but as of now, um, they didn't reach any agreement whatsoever. So, but there is hope that they will, eventually, because enough is
Raji,
enough.
thank
Yes,
you, George. Raji, George just gave us the real time. I didn't know
yes,
they've come to that point. I was following the
yes.
meeting when it started earlier in Istanbul.
Mm,
So, Raji, with this that George have said now, um,
mm.
that means we're going to have more weeks of heavy bombardment. That's what it means.
I,
Because no,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I say both of them are tired of the war. Let
okay.
interlopers keep out of the war. Let
Hmm.
Europe stop all this saber rattling. So far, uh, Trump has not been too insulting or abusive of Putin, but you all know that Putin is a calculated strategic thinker.
Okay.
So if there have been a disagreement now because uh, Ukraine presented an unconditional ceasefire, then it's only but they are still talking. They are
They're
still
still
talking.
talking.
I don't see
So,
how
so
a beaten uh, guy will come out with an unconditional ceasefire. He should be begging for ceasefire.
you should be begging for George, do you think it's because Trump wasn't there physically, Putin wasn't there physically? Do you think that's why this thing was deterred, postponed to
You
another
see, the
time?
point. The point is just like I said, the less involvement, direct involvement, Trump himself has with this particular negotiation, the better it will go. And the easier for Russia to accept certain conditions. One of the major problems that we have is just basically shoulder rubbing and shoulder, you know, massaging. What
Hmm.
say?
Hmm.
Ego,
Hmm.
ego, ego. It's all
Ego.
about ego.
It's all
So
about ego.
if Trump do not or refuses to get directly involved, you will see the movement go further. But if he gets involved with his narratives and his utterances, this thing will last much longer. And that's what I
Okay.
believe because Putin will not succumb to any North American or any other person because he has his own alternative world. Do not
Hmm.
forget, yeah, because he's a
Alternative
leader,
world.
he's a leader in that world.
Yes.
He's a leader in the polarized world right now with
Okay.
a lot of other people under him. So
Under
if
him.
Trump comes to dictate or you know the way he has been, Putin will not
Hmm.
accept it. Take it to
Okay,
the bank.
viewers, we're discussing what is happening in Istanbul. Russia, Ukraine had a peace talk, and what George said is they've postponed that meeting to another time. George also coming in as real time in update is that they are now talking on exchange of prisoners. Um,
Yes, that's
yes.
part of the things that they had
Mhm.
actually decided also that they will
Okay.
be exchanging prisoners, which is actually going to start as soon as possible,
As
according to
soon as.
what the decisions that they made. Remember they had exchanged prisoners before.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
recently, but they're continuing, and it gives us a little hope because it means like these people are really thinking about reconciliation. They're thinking about resolution. They're thinking about
Yes.
diplomatic way of ending this war.
war.
and to start rebuilding. So that's what
Thank
it
you,
is.
George. So, viewers, we have viewers joining us. Viewers, this is it today, Monday, Between the Lines, and we are talking the peace accord that is supposed to be in Istanbul, but has been postponed. But there's hope. Also, exchange of prisoners. Russia said they agreed to return about 6,000 soldiers and offered to a 3-day ceasefire. George, it's a 3-day ceasefire they've agreed to
Yes.
on certain points of the front line to facilitate those collection of bodies and everything. So this is it, gentlemen. Thank you very much, George and Raji. Thank you for that real-time update. Before we move further, let's also announce that there is an announcement that the 6th and the 9th of June will be marked as a holiday in Nigeria. So our viewers watching us from Nigeria, remember the 6th and the 9th is to mark the El Eid festival. That's a very special moment for Muslims. I know it's a season of the feast of sacrifice, where they celebrate worldwide and a lot of good things flow. Raji, tell us, 6th
Yes.
and 9th of June, Ed holiday.
Eid.
What do we
Yes.
expect to
It's
have some
called
ram?
Eid. Eid.
Yes. It's
Yes,
supposed to be
Eid.
it's supposed to commemorate that time in history when
Mm-hmm.
Ibrahim was
Ibrahim.
supposed to have sacrificed his son, uh, is Isaac, Isaac, to on the instruction of God. And when he
Okay.
willingly put his child on the platform for sacrifice, God realized that yes, this is a man that he can trust. This is a man who has faith in him, and therefore provided him a ram instead of
Mm,
him sacrificing his son. And it is uh, that same time that same uh, sacrifice that we do during the Eid. It
that same
happens.
sacrifice you do
Yes,
during the Eid. So that's
symbolic
a
sacrifice.
very
So
significant
yeah.
moment. Hmm.
However, the cost of ram has gone so high that I don't think a lot of people will be able to afford ram. Unfortunately, chicken and duck they don't qualify. So I think it's going to be a very interesting Eid period for most people, for more Muslims in Nigeria.
But Raji, George, moments like this, they say cut your coat according to your size. Can't you have like 4, 5, 3 families come together, buy one ram instead of one person trying to do that? Or can you have like a communal purchase of the ram? Mm-hmm.
It's an idea. It's an idea,
Mm-hmm.
but with people, they will want to know that yes, it is his own ram that he killed. What a lot of people now do, what a lot of
Okay.
people now, because ram meat doesn't fill a pot. So
Ah,
what people now do is they make a collection and buy a cow
a
and then
cow.
and kill the cow and then share the cow. That cow meat is much more voluminous than ram meat.
Okay. Talking about cows and so many other things in that line. Thank you very much, Raji. Thank you for that. Um, we also got the update on what happened with the launching of the inauguration of that land, that Calabar the coastal way.
Okay.
Now, gentlemen, what was sent to me what was sent to us as a media house is that they said there was no harm done to the landmark projects. No harm was done. The Minister of Works was clarifying that. He said he got a lot of complaint, people saying they destroyed that landmark because of Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. So he said it's not true. Not no harm was done. George, do you have anything to say on that? Do you think?
Well, they have termed the government to be a gangster government. I don't know who is saying that. And I am not saying that, you know, the government is a gangster government. I think I heard it from one of our members here before. But anyway, the point about it is this. There is what you call eminent domain. The government has the right to go and say, okay, we're going to create a pathway through this place. If it's, destroying your property, we will actually compensate you adequately for that. So the point was that, yes, 30 kilometers out of 700 and something 750 kilometers, were being inaugurated or, commissioned, which doesn't make any sense to me, if you ask me. You have 750 kilometers. Why are you commissioning 30 kilometers? What is that? What is that? So in that case, then, if that is the case, if we had done halfway and said, okay, congratulations, halfway, you have done at least, right now, maybe 300 and something, 375 kilometers, we could clap for them. But 30 kilometers? And you're going to waste time? You're going to commission it? What are you commissioning for? Is that what it is? Okay, number one is, there are better ways of using that money. We could have fixed the roads that we have already rather than creating a new one. Number one. Number two, we could have used that money to ensure that every household in Nigeria gets electricity. It could have been done. That way, it would affect every aspect of lives. This particular road, according to our brother Olayinka Rajise, is a road that leads to nowhere. I don't understand it. Why, we're wasting time. Or is it that, because after 2 years, it's part of what they will call to be one of Asiwaju's achievements? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, actually. So, and the fact that a lot of properties were destroyed, of course, we know that. Many sacrifices were made, we know that. And as they continue to go and build this road, there are a lot more will be happening. So, I'm not quite understanding part of the reason why we are jumping up and down for 30 kilometers.
So, may I come in?
Go right ahead.
Go ahead.
About landmark. No physical structure of landmark was actually affected. However, right in front of their structure was a big space where they were using for the coastline things that they were doing. It was a fantastic beach for landmark to use. It doesn't belong to landmark, but it's something that they were using, and they were using profitably, and the government would have been getting a lot of funding from it. It wasn't as if landmark was touched at all. It was not touched, but the space in front of it that they could use for a beach, and that sort of shrank landmark space backwards, so that landmark now seems to be curtailed by that. And you can see the road flying right in front of the, instead of leaving the shoreline quite clear, they have now encumbered the shoreline with a road that leads to some. Look, don't let us talk. Then commissioning 30 kilometers, that is 4% of a 750-kilometer highway, is to me very, very childish, very, very unserious. It shows clearly that we are not serious. Anyway, but we've said it before, that the logic of government makes meaning to those in government. And when you are not in government, you'll be surprised about the logic that you get from government.
Makes meaning to those in government. Gentlemen, George, apart from the landmark issue and commissioning that 30% of a road, 30 kilometers,
4%. Okay.
The other story we heard is they say by the time this thing is done, this Lagos Calabar coastal highway will generate $12 billion in its first decade. Gentlemen, George, $12 billion.
The only way it's going to be generating that amount of money if they have a toll gate.
Okay. They have what?
Toll gates.
Toll gates.
Toll gates.
Like We are talking dollars, Sir George.
Oh, listen, the only way we generate any money, I said,
Okay.
any money, if they have toll gates. I don't know what they mean that is going to generate 12 billion or whatever the case might be. I don't know where that calculation is coming from. The roads we have already, what kind of money are they generating
Are they
for?
generating?
Are they generating right now? So, and why are they ascribing such? You see, this is some of the things that doesn't make any sense. With sometimes when the government or some of these pontificators come out and start talking nonsense that doesn't make any common sense whatsoever. Where are they getting all this money they're going to be generating from? Where is it coming from and why? You're building a road with our money. And then you're saying that it's going to be generating 12 billion. What kind of 12 billion? Is it going to be 12 billion because transportation will be now easy for people to carry goods and services from Calabar to Lagos? Or I just don't, you know what? Sometimes, the people that are in government right now, they defy all logical or explanation in things that they do. I don't get it. Unless somebody else can tell me exactly what they mean that the road will generate 12 billion. Or are they trying to I think they're just trying to justify, the kind of money that they're spending.
That comment is coming from a governor who's a Timma of Imo State. And
forget that one.
I don't know how articulate he is with statistics and numbers.
Obviously, he has no articulation at all. In fact, okay. I don't even. Well, when you see how he became governor, you understand the logic that he has.
No, the point about it is that we call this psychophancy type of statement.
Comments.
Comments. Because all it is you want to, what's his name? The Senate president came and constructed a new song for the president.
Yes. George, tell us about that. Tell us about that.
I mean,
the new song.
Nigeria is going to be better and all that kind of stuff. But the point about it is we can sing all the song we want to. Until the people on ground, the common man begins to feel the positive effect of this government. They can sing all they want to. They can shout all they want to. They can pontificate all they want to. The bottom line to it is, when it starts from the bottom up, then we will realize all we're seeing now is top to bottom, because the top 3%ers, the politicians, they are enjoying, they're eating money, they're enjoying themselves. The people on the bottom are dying every day. There are kwashiorkor happening in some parts of Nigeria because of malnutrition. So, you think about it.
But then, George, the government has been honest enough to tell us that whatever they are doing is not for the present, it's for the future. And they do not care whether we live to see the future or not. Whatever the government is doing is for the future. It's not for the present. So if you're expecting anything for yourself for the present, I think maybe you should depend. Your grandchildren should be looking forward to something.
Why they're pushing forward to the future, why people are dying today?
That's not government. What they have said. I'm telling you what they have said. So now we are planning for the future with the death of the present. So how are you going to get any future when the present is dead? So that's why I say their logic is
okay.
Is
very interesting. Very interesting logic, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Viewers, we are talking about what happened during the weekend. Landmark was not affected. The Umai, Minister of Works in Nigeria, is telling us while they were building the coastal highway and launching, inaugurating the 30 kilometers.
Excuse me, if my memory serves me right.
Yes,
that particular coastal line, in front of that beach where they destroyed. Did they not afterwards go to the other ones that they rejected originally before they started destroying those things?
Yes, they sort of shifted it away for some time. Yes, but you see, look, there's no clarity. There's no clarity.
There's no clarity.
Yes, as a matter of fact, nobody knows the exact route now. Nobody knows the exact route. Except for the 30 kilometers they have done, nobody knows the exact route. Because after some time, we are told that the terrain in Ondo State is so bad that putting a road there could endanger the road. Meanwhile, the terrain in Ondo State is the best you can think of until you enter the Delta area, where there are no solid ground for you to even build anything on.
Much more. Viewers, you're hearing from the experts. Yeah, Raji, thank you. You are telling us how it is. Let's come to another story that's very vital to our country and to the citizen. George, a lot of time we talk of oil, and that's one major source of income the country relies on. Now, what we heard is there's mass scale of oil theft going on in Nigeria. And yesterday, the naval chief, Ogala told us, Chief of Admirals, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Emmanuel Ogala says that we need to increase the manpower to boost the efforts to curb oil theft. Gentlemen, let's talk about this, because these are some of the topics people don't talk about sometimes. I don't know why, but it's important we address it. George, do you think that it's about manpower? It's about more security, more manpower to check? Because I believe that some of these oil theft are also happening from the powers that be. So even if you have a million security men watching, it will still pass through because these powers control the Nigerian oil. Gentlemen, what do you say?
You know, we have we're supposed to be having 2 billion. Is it 2 million barrels of oil?
2 billion barrels, yes.
Is it 2 billion?
Yes.
2
2
million, 2
million,
million
2
barrels.
million,
Yes.
2 million barrels.
Every day.
Now, yeah, but now we have what we are doing is about 1.6 of that. But in actuality, we are producing more than 2 million barrels.
Okay.
Because most of them are well-planned and orchestrated strategy to be extracting this fuel money, and then is enriching, the top military men and some of the government officials. So, like we reported a while ago, when they're talking about thievery, they are always concentrated on the poor man that is boiling oil somewhere, cooking oil somewhere. But that's not what we're talking about. The main thievery is coming with big ships coming into these areas, tankers carrying crude oil out, well orchestrated, well planned, and instrumentally done. That's what they're doing. So to stop that one will actually mean that we're going to go to the very top, from the presidency all the way down to all the military people that are involved, all the commanders, both in the marine and in the regular military. So when they're talking about 30,000, it's not enough, and they're presently, Mr. Ogala is talking about that they need more help because of the vastness of the maritime area. Yes, indeed, they might, but is it going to stop the main oil bunkering that we are talking about? Because this thing is being done. It's being done with the collaboration of both the military and the marine people and the government. They know what is happening. Only that the common man cannot do it. The common man is just stealing a few gallons of crude oil and then refine it and sell it on the streets. So surveillance, they say, has improved, number one. But they still need they still need a lot of equipment to help with with monitoring this thing, and the people that are caught are just common men that are just boiling this oil. The main thievery is from the top.
What was the security arrangement the government had with Tompolo? which was supposed to be in billions of naira to ensure the security of the pipeline. And look, this thing is a well organized mission. It's a mission for those who are involved. That's why when some soldiers were killed in Okwama, the reaction was swift, very, very swift, swifter than when Boko Haram attacked a whole barracks. Because if what happened in Okwama was not stopped immediately, it could degenerate into something else. The soldiers who are protecting the bunkering will be at risk. Therefore, an example has to be made immediately of the Okwama village. Those who are doing bunkering are not those who are carrying it in jerry cans.
No,
Those who are doing
they're
bunkering
not.
they are using barges and they are using huge tankers offshore to take the things away.
Okay, gentlemen, hold tight. We'll still come to this topic. It's very, very important one. Let's do a small break. We'll come back. George, Raji, thank you. You guys are saying it the way it is, raw, you know. Thank you very much. Let's take a break, viewers. SSM Monday Between the Lines. See you on the other end.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Elevate your new week. Fuel your success. SSM invites you to kickstart each weekday with our news update, Between the Lines, featuring the week's top news and analysis, and the most attention-grabbing lines, Deciphering World Event.
Schengen Story magazine is an African international bi-monthly magazine based in Milan, Italy, and founded in 2016. The publication focuses on personalities, fashion, style, entrepreneurship, and culture for Africans. Though articles on food, movies, fitness, music, travel, sports, technology, and books are also featured. Our lives full of best stories. A lot can happen in a month. Expand your mind, change your world. Get Schengen Story magazine's full editions. Celebrating Africans make an impact. Read better. The Inside Story. Your fashion magazine for a better lifestyle, inspiring stories for you. Your monthly dose of entertainment, a better mind keeping you updated.
All right, viewers, we're welcome back. Welcome back, George. Second segment. So, crucial topic, because there lies our source of income, as they've termed it. Even though we could look into diversify into other angles of making money for our country, but the oil is the main G. So, George, you were saying something. You said the oil gallon and the rubber tanks are not the real thief. They
don't make any dent. They don't really make any dent whatsoever. What makes dent is the millions of gallons of crude oil that are being shipped out of our country, known to the government, known to the major people that are controlling that country. They know about it. And these are the money, when they get this money, they share it among themselves. So the military gets their own portion, the Navy gets their own portion, and all the politicians, most of them, they get this money also. So, the thing about it is that for Nigeria to be able to be fixed, yes, indeed, I know that the government is looking to the future and all that kind of stuff. But the point about it is we have to make trading in Nigeria, export and import of goods into Nigeria, to be a little friendlier.
Okay.
Because we can be exporting agricultural products out of our country to different parts of the world. And we have enough population around the world today that even if we say, let's target only Africans or only Nigerians that are abroad, that will yield a lot of billions of dollars. Because our people, we love our food. So, but the point about it is shipping goods and importing goods has become an issue. That, you know, even when you want to export goods now, all of a sudden, by the time you go through all the red tapes and the bureaucracies and everything else that is involved, you know, your profit is all done. So we have to go back to the books and begin to make sure, look at Ghana, this little Ghana that you see, little Ghana that you see. Most of the products we have here in the stores are being manufactured in Ghana. I'm telling you. So that, and then the people are being encouraged to package these goods, make sure that it meets all the requirements and all the specifications, and they ship it out. And they're making millions of dollars that way. Nigeria is number one place that can. We have a lot of, a lot of land in Nigeria. That if we decide to be shipping, we can feed the whole entire Africa with our agricultural products. If the government will specifically zero in their energy and their attention into this food insecurity that we have in our country. And it will yield us a lot. We have gas.
Okay.
We have gas in Nigeria. Why is it
Yes.
that we are not moving gas as much as we're moving oil? Look at what happened with Russia and Ukraine. When this took place, you saw what happened to Europe. That would have been the time for Nigeria to center their attention in creating, this vacuum that has been created between the war in Ukraine and Russia. Nigeria could be shipping gas to a lot of European countries. Today we would have been sitting pretty, but everybody's just dancing around the oil. That's it. And gold is in the north, and nobody's saying anything. Anything you discover in the north belongs to them, but whatever you discover in the south belongs to the nation. Why? Why?
So yeah, that's the question I was about to ask Raji. Raji, why is it that it's only this oil that they are talking about? And why is it that the naval chief is also telling us that they need more hands to check oil theft? We're not talking of those other minerals in the north and other places, and checking those places too, and also adding more security to man those facilities.
For a very long time, there was always some what do we call it? Boundary demarcation that was made between Ondo State and the Delta area. Now, if the oil had been discovered in the majority population area, it would have been different. Because the oil was discovered in the minority areas, the majority people are treating the minority as second-class citizens. Unfortunately, the minority have been so oppressed. Their leaders have been killed. Soriwa was murdered, straight murdered. They have been repressed to the extent that they have not been able to stand up together as a team to confront the majority that is oppressing them for so long. It is because, and then you see, geologically, Nigeria is actually a gas island. We have more gas than oil. But for more than 30 years now, it is only NLNG that has been able to ship any amount of gas abroad. Brass LNG has been OK LNG, Brass LNG have been in the pipe work for decades. They are just spending money and nothing is coming on. Gas reinjection was a decree that Obasanjo made in 1979 when he was leaving. By the time he was coming back, he came back in 1999. We were about the largest gas flaring country in the world. We are flaring our gases. Yes, we are flaring our gases instead of converting it to, even if we are going to start using inefficient generators to use the gas to generate power. At least we are not flaring it. We are generating power that even all the areas around the Niger Delta could use. You know, but we are not a nation yet, and people are not. We are not looking at the country as something that will survive us. Everybody is trying to take as much from the oil proceeds as possible. Maybe we are looking forward to when this country will go asunder, and therefore by that time they will have taken as much oil, and they have plundered the delta of their resources, and have turned the whole delta into an ecological nightmare for the people.
Gentlemen, we all agree also that we are not utilizing this beautiful gift God has given to our country. We are not, we don't know how to harness, how to put it together, how to make good of it, and for the benefit of everyone. You know, what you're saying now hurts me, because the countries we all run to, this European, they don't even have as much as what we do, but the little they have, they can, you know, put it together, arrange it, and
perhaps we can rephrase it: the nations we run to, not the
the nation.
countries.
Okay, not countries.
We are just a geographic expression. We are not a nation yet, because we don't have a single moral code that that provides a route for us. We are a conglomeration of people who just happen to have fallen upon the carcass of the Niger Delta resources, and we are just dividing it among ourselves, even to the detriment of the owners of the resource.
Land.
George, even your state is added to that. You know, Imo State has oil too, and still nothing much, as in development, is coming out of it. The proceeds is just being wasted. Okay, Raji, you said this so well. We really listened to you. You were pointing, giving us all the levels and all what has happened. Thank you. So, but Raji, before we leave that topic, also, um, do you think that we can harness what we have left, or we might even run dry very soon? What do you think? Because this thing has been running for us for years now. Don't you think it will come to an end one day? And
One day maybe another 10, 20 years. But we seem to be a people who do not care about the future, even though our government is telling us that whatever they are doing is for the future. We do not care. So we spend our resources as we like. We go on jamborees, and we do things that baffle those who have a sense of purpose. Because
George,
otherwise, sorry,
yes. Go ahead.
otherwise, why would we be spending 15 trillion on a coastal highway, and then we are going to borrow some 2 billion or so from the World Bank or IMF for some so-called infrastructure? Which infrastructure are we talking about?
Okay, George, but why can't this elite, so-called elite oil robbers, why can't we call them out and say to their face, tell them, listen, I mean, why are we hiding? The naval chief obviously knows some of these big guns, but he will come out and be looking at the jerry can stealing oil bunkers. Instead of saying it out loud, there are some big men, big elite behind this whole thing, and they need to be called out and stop their nefarious activity.
Listen to
George.
this. We know that, I mean, unless you're dumb, blind, and deaf, that we don't understand what is really going on. If you are having somebody who is also benefiting from the situation, to go and investigate himself and investigate people that are powering this situation and giving him the authorization to do some of these things, what do you think the result will be? That's why they're making a scapegoat out of all these, jerry can or thieves. That's why they're making it, to show, oh, we are doing so well. We are doing so well. Oh, security is even better now than before. But we need more than 30,000. More than 30,000? You know what 30,000 is? Do you know what 30,000 is? It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. Go ahead.
How many people are in the Navy? The Navy today, are they up to 100,000?
Well,
what's the population of the Navy?
Okay.
That they now need 30,000 people more.
The point, it's very interesting. That's a very interesting question. Number one is, as so far, Nigerian Navy is now the third largest in Africa, and they're aiming to be the largest actually. Okay, so what you're seeing is that the number of people that are there already, what they are trying to do right now, they're recruiting, more people to train them and all that. So, which is a good idea, because it's always good to make sure that you have every department of the military, both the Navy, the Air Force, and all those, to be well equipped in a crazy world that we are living in right now. So now, but the fact is, to tell me that 30,000 people plus the Tompolo agreement, plus what do you call it? This other our friend that appeared here,
Asari
Dokubo, contracts and all those things that are, you're telling me that it is not enough? It is enough. And you see what happened with some of these people is when they come out and they start agitating, the government will now put billion worth of money to silence them, to quench their thirst, and they will go and sit down while the regular people are dying daily. That's exactly the system and the way they work it. They silence these people. They make sure that they're getting their own quota. When the money comes out, you send it to them, to their people, and they're sitting pretty and living beautifully. And while others are dying. The arid land that they have in these areas are being so messed up that sometimes people cannot even cultivate their lands anymore, simply because of oil pollution. So these are the things that are happening, but we put a blind eye to it. So when you call, who are you going to call out? Because you're calling out the people who are supposed to be the ones to punish the thieves, but they are part of the gang. So who are you going to call out? And how successful will you be?
When the wolf is your shepherd, your sheep are.
Okay. But George and Reggie, this topic is very important because most times networks in Nigeria don't talk about this. I don't know why. So we're not going to refrain from talking more on this. Let's bring it, if possible, George, you guys could do the undercover job of bringing the list of the so-called elites that are gaining from this whole thing.
But you see, the problem, it's dangerous to do that. You know why?
Why?
The reason is that this underground operation is so secretive that it is very, very difficult that when you start mentioning names without any paper trail, you can get yourself in trouble. That's the major issue, because it could be considered speculation rather than newsworthiness. And that's the problem there. So when you start mentioning some names must have already been dropped out somewhere where we know. But because you don't have any direct evidence of saying that, you cannot. Because if you do it, you could get yourself in a huge trouble by mentioning names without any paper trail or any direct link to that individual. These things are being done in the middle of the night.
Yes. So okay. Let's leave.
Just quickly. Look, before Buhari came in, he mentioned that subsidy was a scam. Now, get this very straight. The guy who was sentenced last week for subsidy scam got 1.2 billion naira by just presenting an invoice. A former governor of Bauchi State had mentioned on national TV, and he said he had complained to Buhari then that we are making too much money from this. So, as George was saying, there's a clique who are making money out of this subsidy scam. If you go in there, the guy who was sentenced knew about the scam, and he now also tried his own. But those people who are in the scam will not let him because he's not part of them. That's why he had to be thrown out.
He had to be thrown out.
So it doesn't destabilize their own scam.
Terrible.
So
anyway,
subsidy is a scam. So whatever subsidy was removed was because the person who removed subsidy was a coward, was too cowardly to go after those who have been collecting money freely, because it was a scam. So it is you people who are now paying for the scam. The scam is still ongoing, and we are paying for it.
Before our time is fast spent, but there are still a few things to talk about, gentlemen. You all heard of that 8 people that were hurt, in Colorado fire attack. A suspect came and started shouting, "Free Palestinians, free Palestinians," and multiple people were injured as he threw fire. George, what was that story?
Well, it's a very, very a serious issue there. A man shouting "Free Palestinians" attacked a pro-Israeli gathering in Boulder, Colorado, and with a Molotov and the cocktails and makeshift flame thrower, and was just, casualty was about 8 people that were injured between the ages of 52 to 88, including a Holocaust survivor, as a matter of fact. So this thing took place in Colorado, in Pearl Street Mall, during a weekly demonstration by a group, by this group called Run for Their Lives. So FBI labeled this thing as they labeled the attack, as a terror attack. And the guy actually is from Egypt that did this, and his name is a 45-year-old man. His name is Mohammed Sabri Soleiman, an Egyptian national. And as a matter of fact, he's not even landed in the U.S. Right now. So he entered the U.S. As a tourist in 22 and applied for asylum later that year. But his visa expired in February 2023. So I think he's in custody right now.
It is very easy.
Thank you, George. What you're seeing on the screen is a clip from the whole thing. Viewers, the attack, the man shouting "Free Palestinians" and injured many people. George, yes.
But as a matter of fact, coincidentally, today they were just talking about, one man, also a white man that put himself on fire during the Biafran Nigerian war. And today we're just commemorating that, actually, that Ojukwu, before he died, told his wife to make sure that he memorialized this man. And today they were just hailing her, Bianca Ojukwu, for building a beautiful structure in memory of this man who was crying out, who killed himself as a result of the Biafran Nigerian war.
It's very easy. It's very easy to tag the guy as a terrorist. Very, very easy. And then you see, more of these things will happen as long as anti-Semitism, so-called anti-Semitism, is made an international crime. At the moment, every college, every university that as much as mention Palestine in good words will come under Trump's hammer. So many universities are losing their loans, are losing their funding because of students' protests on campuses demanding free Palestine. where people cannot demonstrate against obvious genocide, worse than the so-called Holocaust that the Israelis are taking as an excuse for rendering worse treatment to other people, there will be more of these attacks.
Okay. Thank you, Raji. Also, George, I think it was last week. We didn't talk about that. In Penn State, there was also a man that came and what was that story? He came and hurt a lot of people in the United States last 2 weeks. Did you get that one? Instead of Penn.
Didn't we talk about that? I thought we
Okay,
talked.
that's gone. But we had so many of those cases all around. Even in the UK, there was this one of somebody crashing through a crowd of Liverpool fans. Liverpool fans were celebrating, and an ambulance was going through the crowd. So that person also used his time, his own, as the ambulance was going. He also used that space to want to move through, and thereby killing 2 people and hurting hundreds of many people, but as he was trying to go through the road.
Did that have anything to do with Palestine?
Well, that one has nothing to do with Palestine, but we have all of these, and sometimes when they go down, it could be one of such. All right, gentlemen, George, thank you for that update. Before we close, it's almost time. Let's talk about the events that happened during the week, the sporting events. We had the football matches.
Yes.
There was this match the Nigerian team won. It's called Unity Cup. Unity Cup have been on for some time now. This is the third year, and we faced off with Jamaicans. We beat them 5-4 years. We won. So want to say kudos to the Nigerian team for beating the Jamaicans to win the Unity Cup. Then also we had the UEFA Cup. I don't know if you guys follow football here. Yeah. The Europeans had their league, Champions League, the annual match they play, and surprisingly, Paris Saint-Germain, that French team, won. They beat Inter Milan. It was really interesting. 5-0. Yes, 5-0. Paris Saint-Germain, PSG won over Inter. In Nigeria, 20 people lost their lives also. Kanu athletics that were returning from a sporting march, and they all died. Did you hear that, George?
Yeah, that's a very sad
very
story.
Unfortunate.
Very sad
a similar event happened maybe about 2 years ago when the Kano State Sports Commission put them on the road from Kano down south, and they had an accident, and about 10 of the athletes died, and they were now airlifted. Their bodies were now airlifted to Kano. It happened about 2 years ago. This one is on their return journey. It's
sad.
Quite surprising.
It's sad. But also there are 2 deaths that took place also with the PSG Champions League victory. You know, a 17-year-old boy died, and a 23-year-old man died after being hit by a vehicle in Paris. And so there was a widespread violence and vandalism, and because of this victory celebration. So bus shelters smashed, cars touched, and shops were looted because of this. And this should not be when we are celebrating victory. Why does it go into rioting and looting? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Money is involved.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Actually, it's just these young people trying to vent they exaggerate their excitement to another level.
Yes.
Can you just imagine the amount of damage? 264 vehicles were burned, 192 people injured, including police officers and firefighters. 559 people arrested nationwide, including 491 in Paris. Okay, this is getting out of hand. I just don't get it.
Indeed. It's getting out of hand. Yes, they actually, France is known for such wild I don't know, they just go too overboard
Yeah.
when expressing their excitement,
You know,
and now this is going
the
crazy.
interesting thing is that there was a time when football was for poor people. Poor
Mhm.
people were playing for the entertainment of rich people. Now, rich people are playing for the entertainment of the poor.
Wonderful. All right,
Somebody,
let's crop it up with this one. This is very interesting story. I want to ask you. The young man you see there is called Lukman Ademolu Lukman. Now, he started from the UK. He played and he's been going very far. In fact, he won the CAF African Footballer of the Year 2024, and you know he also was nominated in the Ball d'Or nomination, and he's done some really great feats for himself, for Nigeria. Now, the thing now is this: he says he prefers his allegiance to Nigeria. That is a very good decision he has made than the allegiance to the UK. George, this is the reverse of many people. Is that
Well,
not so?
it's a catch
Uh-huh.
22 type of situation. You know, I mean, damn you do, damn you don't. The point is he going to
Okay.
be making enough money playing in Nigeria than he would have made playing in in the UK? That's the major question. Is he sacrificing the kind of millions that he could have been making if he was in, you know, and playing for UK versus
no,
playing for Nigeria? So
he
maybe
wants to
money
play
is not.
for, not in
Huh?
Nigeria,
Say what?
for Nigeria, not in Nigeria.
Say
For
that again.
Nigeria.
Yes, he wants to play for Nigeria.
Well,
It's not that he
okay.
wants to be playing in Nigeria. No, that would be stupid decision.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. But he's still with a UK team, though, right?
Yes, he's still with the UK team, but he wants
So
to
he's making
play
that millions.
for.
But when it comes to match, you want to join Nigerians.
He wants to play for Nigeria. Yes.
Okay. How does that work, though? What if his
No,
team?
it's okay. A lot
A lot of
foreign
Nigerians do
players,
that. Yeah. A lot of
yes, do
foreigners do
that.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. They join their own. But you know, he was honored actually by Tinubu, our president. So which was very very good. You know, because I think he won the best player. You know, and then also when it comes to sports, also Pascal Siakam from Cameroon was also he also won. You know, the best player for the I think is the Eastern. Is it the Eastern? Yeah, Eastern Conference Championship.
Championship. Okay.
Yeah, basketball.
Yeah. Basketball. Okay. Wow. Thank you. So that means, George, you could make your allegiance to Nigeria when it comes to international issues than standing for Canada.
I love my country. That's why I'm praying that. That's why I keep on praying for Asiwaju. That Asiwaju will God will grant him the wisdom, so he will do the right things at the right time, in the right way, so that we all can come home. Asiwaju, I'm praying for you. Oh. I'm praying for you, Asiwaju. I'm praying for you. Don't forget the chieftaincy title we gave you in Igbo land, though. Ticket Sinamba, Oifebo. So we thank you. Please remember, we the diasporans are wanting to come back home to Nigeria. Make it take care of the security, take care of these roads, and take care of the infrastructure, lights, and everything. We will be back.
We will be back. Nice. On that note, Raji, are you also claiming allegiance to Ukraine, to Russia instead of Nigeria?
I am a Nigerian. I love my country. I just hope that the country will be run well, not by some egoistic leaders who think that they know all. Yes, if they can only be, if my people can only be humble and call on me, I'm ready to help them. So says the
and
Lord.
call on you too. Imagine calling
So
on
says the
Raji.
Lord.
Oh yeah, call on Raji, Nigeria. He needs Raji could also make inputs in decision making. Raji, don't laugh. I mean, we don't know where it's taking us to. All right, gentlemen, you were awesome. Beautiful beginning point. George, thank you. Raji, thank you very much.
God
Have a good
bless
evening.
the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless our president and the leadership in Nigeria. God take away all the corruption and create an even ground for everybody to operate. Amen.
God cannot take away all